9 times. One Piece made fans tear up. Hey folks, every good anime's got those tearjerker moments that make even the toughest among us shed a manly tear, right? So it's no surprise that One Piece is no exception. So come along with me as we take a look at some of the many moments that tug at your heartstrings. And let me tell you, some of your favorite characters are on this list. Alright folks, let's be real here. Anyone who's watched One Piece and claims they've never shed a tear is probably lying, right? It's just inevitable because there are so many stories that hit you right in the feels. So go ahead, admit it, I won't judge. And hey, fair warning, there's going to be tons of anime spoilers ahead, folks. So consider yourselves warned, okay? But don't worry, I'll try to keep it all in chronological order, so if you haven't seen everything, you can bail out when you hit your limit in the anime. Or if you're like, spoilers? Bring it on! Then stick around till the end. Cool? Alright, let's dive in. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel, hit that bell, and smash that like button to support our project, alright? Nami, guys. Nami was one of the first to join the crew, and she came with a heartbreaking backstory. See, her mom Bellamere took a bullet from Arlong rather than reveal she wasn't the girl's birth mother, and that the money was hers alone. Nami grew up in a village under Arlong's control, dreaming of buying freedom for her people. But even after all the stealing and betraying, even turning on Luffy who saved her, she couldn't break free from Arlong. So when she's there, desperate, using a knife to remove Arlong's tattoo, bloodied and in tears, it's gut-wrenching. And that's where one of the most epic scenes kicks in, with Luffy handing her the straw hat and going to settle the score with Arlong. Chopper. You'd think this adorable face of Chopper's would save him from a tragic tale, right? Well, think again. See, Chopper was a reindeer rejected by his herd, taken in by Dr. Hiruluk. He fell in love with medicine, but when the doctor got sick, things went downhill. Chopper nearly died fetching a mushroom that might cure the doctor, but it had a skull symbol he didn't understand. He gave it to the doctor, who knew he was dying and didn't want Chopper to feel his efforts were in vain. So the doctor rigged bombs and blew himself up so Chopper wouldn't blame himself. Brook, guys, Brook was part of the Rumbar pirates who found Laboon, a cute little whale. They befriended her until they decided to leave her with Crocus, as the rest of the journey would be too dangerous. One day, half the crew fell ill in a forest, forcing them to split to avoid infecting the others. Despite the hardships, the Rumbar pirates continued under Brook's captaincy until they were attacked. Even after winning, the enemy's weapons were poisoned, sealing their fates. So Brook's idea was for them to play Laboon's favorite song, recording it for her to remember them by. That's how the Rumbar pirates met their end, one by one smiling, doing what they loved, hoping Laboon would hear them again. Nico Robin grew up on Ohara, an island destroyed by the Navy, known as the Devil Child for her studies on government secrets. Hunted her whole life, she briefly joined Luffy's crew, not fully trusting him. But Luffy saw her as a friend and risked it all for her. After everything she'd been through, fleeing the world's worst, finally, someone recognized Robin as a person and believed in her. When she'd given up, Luffy took on the world government to save her. So when Robin finally sees this guy means business, she says, "I want to live!" Her hope returns, and Robin decides to keep going. Going merry. Guys, getting emotional over a boat might seem crazy, but plenty of us have been there. The Going Merry sailed with the Straw Hats through countless adventures, even to the skies. After all those adventures, the crew's deep connection with the ship, and the constant repairs, Merry became more than a vessel. When the ship's spirit couldn't be repaired anymore, it had to end. It sank and was destroyed, but not before fulfilling its duty. That's when Merry thanks the Straw Hats while going up in flames, saying, "Thank you for taking care of me until now. I was truly happy." Sabaody Archipelago, folks. Sabaody serves up one of the tensest and downright despairing moments in the entire anime. It starts off fun and games, but things take a dark turn when an admiral shows up. Before long, they're all about to be captured until Kuma shows up, making everyone but Luffy disappear. It turns out it was for their own good, but seeing Luffy in tears because he couldn't save any of his friends? Heart-wrenching. Ace and Whitebeard. If we've learned anything from One Piece, it's that almost nobody dies, and often there's a miraculous escape to keep characters alive. But not this time. Nope, it was traumatic, folks. We followed Ace's hunt for Blackbeard, which backfired big time. We also saw Luffy's journey to save him, going through all levels of Impel Down, like literal hell. Despite Herculean efforts, and even Whitebeard joining the fray in a war against the Navy, Ace didn't make it out alive. And if that weren't terrible enough, there's a scene afterward that's even worse, folks. It's Luffy crying with Jinbei, realizing that despite his losses, he still has his friends. When he remembers his crew, Luffy breaks down even more, realizing he still has plenty left to protect. And of course, in the Marineford War itself, we can't forget Whitebeard. Besides being the world's strongest man, Whitebeard was also the ultimate dad in the anime. Literally. It's truly touching to see how affectionate Whitebeard was with his children, and how he never gave up on them, even when they went against him. That's why he took on the entire world, because nobody messes with Whitebeard's kids. And that's also why he died. But he died standing, with his honor intact, protecting his children, not a scratch on his back, and sparking the era of pirates anew. Fisher Tiger, folks. Fisher Tiger's story is cool, but it's also tragic, showing the cruelest side of humanity. See, Fisher Tiger was a fishman captured as a slave by the world nobles. Even after escaping, Fisher Tiger climbed back up the Red Line to free his friends, earning more respect from fishmen, but more hatred from humans. He was ambushed and killed by the Navy one day, refusing a blood transfusion from a human out of sheer trauma from what they'd done to him. Oden Kozuki. And if we didn't have tragic stories aplenty, we've got Oden, folks. Oden was one of the greatest characters in One Piece, and one of its biggest heroes. He always wanted to leave Wano and see the world, and he did it in the most epic way possible, joining not only Whitebeard's crew, but Roger's as well. Even after reaching the final island and learning the truth of the One Piece, he returned to Wano to open its borders. The problem was, Orochi and Kaido had already taken over, and even when he fought Kaido, they played dirty and Oden lost. In the end, Oden spent 5 years humbling and humiliating himself to save the people of Wano without any credit, dying by execution, boiled in oil. Of course, not before saving his allies who would later save Wano and dying with a smile on his face. Because, let's face it, Oden wouldn't be Oden if he didn't go out in a blaze of glory.